My name is Abdurian Cornelius, and today we will be interviewing Gary Joshua, a professional MMA fighter fighting out of the EFC Hexagon. For those who don't know, MMA or mixed martial arts is a fighting style comprised out of many other fighting styles. So Taekwondo, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Kickboxing, and etc. And EFC is the application of the sport. So getting onto the subject at hand, Gary Joshua. He started in South Africa's bantamweight division and was skilled enough to earn himself a position in the top 10 in his division. Now, out of 23 professional flyweight fighters, his skill, his determination, his relentlessness to keep going has earned himself a spot in the top 5 of his current division. He is a person that never backs out of a challenge and will always try his best. But what got him started in the first place? What goes on inside his head during a fight? What did it take him to get to this point? A lot of people see the success but rarely see the hard work and late nights that go with it. So today we'll be looking at these things through the eyes of one of the most influential fighters.
Now, Gary Relentless Joshua!
So if you can give me a bit of in-depth background information about how you first started, how you got into Jiu-Jitsu, MMA.
Okay, so I'm doing Jiu-Jitsu for about 11 years already. My first introduction into grappling was when a buddy of mine took me to a class what he was doing up in Muizenberg with Mark Human, was the coach at the time. So I literally just walked into class, checked a bunch of guys doing some takedowns and rolling around on the floor as I didn't know exactly what they were doing. That was my first introduction into Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, and since then, how long have you been practicing MMA?
Well, I've been practicing MMA for about, I would say, 6 years, focusing on MMA.
And from up until you started till now, do you think your motivation for doing MMA has changed? And if so, how?
Well, I would say from I started up until now, I would say that I'm actually way more motivated to be doing what I'm doing, because I actually realized this is what I want to do with my life. This is what I'm meant to be doing with my life. So 100% I would say I'm way more motivated now than what I was when I started.
When you started the sport, did you picture yourself being a professional MMA fighter in the future?
When I started MMA, as my confidence built and my experience built, yes, I did picture myself being a professional mixed martial artist.
What do you enjoy most about MMA, and what do you think it can teach people?
What I enjoy most about MMA is testing myself against a fellow athlete, fellow professional, someone that's actually on the same path as me. What I think it can teach people is discipline, because once you've been in a fight, you wouldn't go around looking for a fight. So I would say definitely it will teach you self-confidence in your abilities, and also respect. It will teach you a lot of respect. And to add on that, if you don't have respect in this game, getting humbled is a real thing, and you will get humbled in the sport. The sport humbles everybody.
Who or what is your biggest inspiration in MMA?
Well, currently I'm on a mission right now, so my biggest inspiration would be to get the title and to be crowned as the champ, as the king of the division. But what actually inspires me is to leave a legacy behind. And what is driving that inspiration is me fighting to provide for my family.
On that note, what's the legacy you want to leave behind? Like, what do you want to be remembered as?
Well, the legacy what I want to leave behind is that you can be respectful, you can be a proper martial artist that's humble, respectful, but when the cage door closes, doesn't mean that you can't be an animal. I want to be known as that guy that always comes to fight, always looking for a finish, always puts on exciting fights. Either way, that at the end of the day, people will remember you for putting up good fights and hunting for a finish. So that's what I want to leave behind, just to be known as that crazy mother.
Okay, so no worries about that. On Saturday you had a fight with Nkazi Mulo Zulu Boy, and it didn't exactly go in your favor. What went on inside your head during the fight?
Talking about Saturday's fight, there was many things going on in my head. The fight was all over the show, on the ground, on the stand-up. Very hard opponent to figure out, but all that was running through my head was I needed to get the fight to the floor and I needed to find a way out to finish him. That was majority that was running through my head until the time I got caught and got choked.
In a fight with any opponent, how would you most likely beat the opponent or put the situation in your advantage, on the standing up or on the floor?
Well, I would like to believe that I'm well-rounded. So obviously I would try and exploit my opponent's weakness. If I'm better standing up than what my opponent is, then I'll go for the knockout or TKO. If I'm better than my opponent on the ground, then I will go for the submission or ground and pound TKO victory. Any area where I can actually exploit my opponent's weakness is where I will take the fight.
And the last question, for anyone who wants to get into the sport, like the young people who wants to do this as a career as well, is there any advice that you want to give them?
My advice will be, first of all, is to finish your education. You can train while you're still busy with your schoolwork and everything, but definitely finish your education. If you can study further, get a degree or something behind your name, you definitely have to do that. The reality is we live in South Africa. You can't make a sustainable living on just fighting alone without proper sponsorships and things like that. It's quite hard to get sponsors as well, but you're gonna need to have something as a backup. The reality is you can't fight till you're 60 years old, so you have to think also what you're gonna do after your career is done, when you're out of your prime. Other than that, you're gonna have to be dedicated to training. You're gonna have to put everything into it if you're gonna wanna make a success out of fighting. It means long hours in the gym, early mornings, late nights, and there's gonna be a lot of people that will doubt you, that will tell you you can't do it. You're gonna have to be mentally strong, and if you really want it, you're gonna have to persevere through a lot of things to get to your goal, which is to be a professional at the end of the day. And yeah, it's not an easy road, but if you put your mind to it and you work hard, success will come.
Thank you, Gary, for giving up your time.
Hey, no problem, buddy. Glad I could help you. Have a lekker day, bro. Good luck with your project.